7.5. Here we go. Use partial quotients to divide. So hopefully by the end you can say, I can record partial quotients using a strategy. So it's very similar to the last lesson, just the way of writing it is a little more efficient. So you don't have the subtraction sort of separate from the area model where you're doing the partial quotients. It's kind of all together. So an adult bison weighs 1,752 pounds, which is 24 times the weight of a bison calf. So how much does the bison calf weigh? So we know the total. We know that that is 24 times something. So, oh, look, there they are. What can we use to figure it out? Well, we can use division to figure it out. So we can write the division equation here. So go ahead, write that on your paper. 1,752 divided by 24 equals C, or what the calf weighs. And then I'm going to show you how to write it in a little, what I call a house. You might have seen it before, but this symbol represents division. So go ahead, write that on your paper so you can see that the order switches, that we still have 1,752 divided by 24, but what we are splitting up goes on the inside. What we are groups like that we're splitting it up into goes on the outside. So when I read it, I still say 1,752 divided by 24. So I kind of read it backwards. The number inside is called the dividend. The number outside is called the divisor. I always remember because the divisor has an O for outside. Otherwise, I tend to get those words mixed up. So, how can we figure out the quotient? I'll show you in this one how we can use partial quotients. So, go ahead and write that on your notes as well. Again, very similar to the last lesson, just written a little differently. And then I'll have another video to show you how to do sort of the more traditional algorithm if you want to give that a try. Or if you like this method, you can keep using this method. So, they're going to use compatible numbers, which just means they're going to show you how you can get closer instead of just doing like groups of 10 or groups of 1. It helps us get a little closer and do a few less steps. So we have 24 times something. We're trying to get close to 1,752. So the compatible numbers, well, 20 times 50 is 1,000. So we can do 24 times 50 to get our first partial quotient. It's 50. 20 times 50 is 1,000. 4 times 50 is 200. So 24 times 50 is 1,200. Now, where we write that, we write it underneath here. So notice how it's all kind of together instead of having the area model and the subtracting part, it's just all together. So 50 times we took out the 1,200, then we have 552 left. So the next compatible numbers, again, I'm trying to get close to 552. Well, 20 times 20 is 400. So if I try 24 times 20, now obviously they've planned it out so they know they'll get close. If you go too big, you know you can't pick a number that big. If you're not close enough, you could still do it and subtract, and then you'll just have to take more groups out. 480, so we get 480. Then like before, we'd write it here, subtract, this is 20 groups, 2, 4, 72 is what we'd have left. So after we subtract, we get 72 left. We took out another 20 groups. Now we have to figure out, okay, how can I get to 72? Now I could do a group of 24, a group of 24, see how many groups it takes me. Or I can say, well, 25 times 3 is 75. So 24 times 3 is 72. So we know it is 3 more groups, and then I won't have anything left over. So, how do we determine the quotient? Go ahead on your notes. Tell me. You add them. So, you add them together is the last blank in your notes. We'll do some practice. Don't worry, because I know that was quick and you might not be following. Hopefully you are, because like I said, it's very similar. So, if it's 24 times the calf must weigh 73 pounds. So, this is sort of showing it the old way. I like doing it in the house because then it's just all kind of in one step. So, let's do this one. I will show you, and then I'll have you do, try one by yourself. So, 2,356 divided by 38. Now, maybe like before, you're like, I just want to do 10 groups again to start. So that's 380. I'm going to subtract. So the 2, 7, 22 minus 3 is 19. Okay. As you can tell, I'd be there a while. So let's try maybe 5 groups. So we have 38. I should say 50. 5 groups of what we just did. So 5 groups of 10, which is 50. So this is going to be 1,500, 400. So together that is 1,900. Oh, nice and close. If I'd gotten something that was too big, I would have had to maybe do 40 groups. So 50 groups gets me 1,900. Subtract, I have 76 left. Well, I know because I can do it in my head that it'll take 2. If you weren't sure, you could always do 1 group, subtract, that's going to be 6, 8, 38, another group, and 0. Either way, once I add up all my partial quotients, I can see 62 groups is how many it took me to get up to my dividend. All right, let's do another example. I'll have you try this one and see if you can get it. You have space on your notes. If you need more space, use a whiteboard, use blank paper. Takes a little bit of space, takes a little bit of time, but that is fine. 819 divided by 39. Go ahead and try. All right, hopefully you got it. I'm actually going to go over here because that is just not enough space for me. So I have 819 divided by 39. All right, you know me, I like to start with 10 groups. So that's 390. So I get 9, need to borrow. 11 minus 9 is 2, and 4. Okay, I'm not too far. So let's try another 10 groups. That's why sometimes I just try 10 and I don't need to go much bigger than that. All right, oh look, 39 left. I know that's just one more group. So I can add those together and get 21 groups is how many it took me to get to my dividend. If you need more explanation, either pause now or ask when you're on your practice sheet. 988 divided by 26. Go ahead and try it. All right, hopefully you got that one. We got 988 divided by 26. All right, let's try 10 groups. So 260. All right, 728. Well, I'd have to do a couple more times. Let's try doing 20. Maybe let's try 30. See what happens. That's 600. That is 6 times 3 is 18 plus 1. That's 780. Oh, that's too big. So I know 30 isn't going to work. So let's try 20. So sometimes that happens where we make a guess about something and it doesn't work. And then that's okay. Now we know 20 is probably going to work since 30 was just a little bit too big. We have 520. Okay, that'll work fine. Okay, can't even do another group of 10, right? Oh, don't forget to write here that that was 20 groups that I took out. So let's try, I don't know, 5 groups. Because I think if I just do one, I'll be here a little while. Let's just try, move my video up, 5. All right. 20 times 5 is 100. This is 30. 130. Seems good. 5 groups. 130. 8. 1. 7. 78. Okay, how many groups of 26 will fit into 78? Well, less than 5 groups. Again, this is where I could say, okay, 25 times 3 is 75, which is really close. So let's try 3. Make a new box. 26 times 3, 18, 60. Together that is 78. So another 3 groups. If I subtract it, I'll have 0 left. And now I can just add my groups. 38. So 38 is my quotient, my answer. All right, I will leave it there. If you feel like you got it, great. If you need some more examples, go ahead and ask. Hopefully you are getting the hang of it. Good luck.